Hello and welcome to Vitality Women Leading Audaciously. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome my guest, Cara. She's a solopreneur and she is all about fitness. So, Cara, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here today.
All the way from New York. Here I am in California, yet we're
Yeah.
here together. I love it. And tell us about kind of why you chose fitness and your story up until now.
So I started out in the fitness industry back in 2005. I became certified in personal training. And I actually was going to school to become a teacher. And I realized that wasn't the path for me. I had about a year left. And I figured I was going to finish it out. I don't like to start something and not finish. So I got my degree. I got my bachelor's degree in childhood education. But around my junior year of college in 2005, I discovered that fitness was more up my alley. So I became a certified personal trainer. And then I started to work for corporate gyms. I actually started off with Lucille Roberts. Not sure if you're familiar with
Yeah,
them. They kind of
totally.
like they've kind of like become, I don't know if they're still around. I think there's a few locations still around.
I don't know.
Um, but I worked with them for 5 or 6 years. And then I got into Equinox, which I know
Nice.
you're familiar with them.
Totally.
Um, Worked with them for 5 years. And then the pandemic hit. And it was getting to the point that I felt very run down working in the gym atmospheres. I was teaching 15, 16 classes a week. It was very difficult on my body physically,
Yeah.
but it was also just mentally. I felt it wasn't healthy to continue to work in the gym atmosphere any longer. And I had the thought in my head. And then when the pandemic hit, it forced me to start my own company. And now I do everything virtually and I absolutely love it.
That's incredible. You made it work. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you have like
Yeah.
classes online, and is it like hit, or is it like what is the magic sauce that you think works the best for yourself and of course your clients?
Yeah, so I actually really believe in a balance. I don't like doing hit every day. Well, I love a good hit class. I feel like it kind of tires out the body to do the same format. Just like if someone does
Totally.
bar every single day, it's a lot on their knees. It really is. So I like to balance out the formats. I teach 5 different group class formats on my website live. And then if people can't make it, they have access to recordings on demand as well if they can't make the live classes. I teach bar, my own Let's Work class. It's like a Pilates bar hybrid with a little low impact cardio. I do have some hit stuff on there. I have a band class, a butt and gut. So I really like the balance of teaching the different formats, and the same with my one-on-one clients. We don't always train the body in the same way. If we train on Monday, we'll do bar. If we train on Wednesday, we'll do, more of a strength based format. It's all about that balance.
Balance is so key. I've been really hardcore into Iyengar yoga for like 27 years. I should say yoga for 27, Iyengar for like 22. And like if I could have a PhD in something, it would be yoga for sure. But I'm also like a
Yeah.
certified bar instructor, like I'm just so
Oh.
interested in like all things fitness. And for me, it's like sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so I was in a wheelchair from ages 7 to 10. And so I knew firsthand what it was like to not have that capacity to move. And it was really no fun. And so I don't take it for granted. And for me, it's like it's a source of freedom from my like emotional, like I don't know if the right word is imprisonment, or like, like emotional bondage. Like, I feel like after a workout, I just feel so free. I just feel so like worked out on all levels. And so for me, it's like an emotionally engaged embodiment practice at this point, but it hasn't always been that way. First it was like weight loss. Like I gotta
Mm-hmm.
like get my ass in gear. I was a model, plus size model, but I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
but I had to
Yeah.
like, I still had to do lingerie and swimsuits and stuff. And I still had to be fit as a plus size model. But I just started to love it, and I started to kind of crave it. And then I started to get competitive with myself. I'm like, wait, why can't I do that? I want to do that. But it's really been a journey for me, and a very empowering journey. I went through periods where I was trying to outrun my fork. so I could like eat as much as I wanted. Then I
Mm.
try to out exercise. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if you, can you relate to any of these things? And like, why, I guess my real question is like, why fitness for you? What is it that like motivate and inspires you about, working with your clients and doing these classes?
Yeah, for me, it's also, I do not take it for granted either. For me, the movement is what keeps me not just physically well, but mentally well. Like I almost need it in the morning, especially like when I wake up, I actually look forward to getting on that mat and moving, whether it even be yoga or
Mhm.
bar, or I just need it for my sanity
I
as well.
know.
Like I could feel such a difference. Like there's one night that I do a night class instead of working out in the morning, and I feel it when I don't have that movement. Even if people can just get to 15 minutes. I'm a big preacher of that too. Even if they can't do a full blown class, just that 15 minutes of movement is so important for the
Game
mental
changer,
state.
right? It's a
Yeah.
game changer. It is.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of clients and even friends who just, it's just such a steep gradient to start. And they feel they're in this like really negative conversation about like, I can't do it. Last year I was so much stronger. I have 20 pounds to lose. Like, why can't I, why is this so hard? Cause it is like, if you got like, when I got COVID, I was like really weak and I
Mhm.
felt like, so it took me so long to get my strength back, but I was at it every day. And now I have my strength back and mostly, yeah, mostly. I don't
Take
know
some
what,
time.
what message do you have for people who are like, I know I should be doing this, but like, it's just such a steep gradient. What message do you have for them?
Little bits at a time. Like it doesn't have to be full blown right away, even if they can just commit to 3 to 4 days a week in the beginning, to 25 to 30 minutes, something small, and doing what they enjoy. That's why I also really believe in teaching different formats, because someone might really, really enjoy a hit workout and somebody
Yeah.
else may hate it.
Right.
Um, and I really believe in doing what you enjoy, because if you're
Hmm.
not going to do what you enjoy, it's not going to motivate you to actually want to come to class or get up and move that day. So
Totally.
if yoga is your thing, do the yoga. It's all about what you're going to commit to and actually enjoy doing.
Yeah, totally. And I think the instructor has something to do. I attend
Hmm.
live classes with my yoga teacher in India or in
Oh, wow.
Switzerland, wherever he is. Yeah, he's been my teacher for 22 years. So like I'm so like, and he's like, he was the Kung Fu champion of Asia before he like got really into yoga about 35 years ago. And he's just so hardcore. Even today, I'm like, the guy is like 60 almost, and he's like so strong. And look at his spine. And I'm just like blown away by this guy. And I'm like dripping with sweat. I'm like, please not another one. We were doing all this like knee strengthening stuff because we do a lot of yoga therapy. But I think the instructor has something to do with it. So I love that you're offering live
Yes.
classes because I also am a part of this thing called The Class. You may know it. It's in New York.
I think I've heard of it.
It's so cool. I love it. And it's really embracing the emotionally engaged piece. And so, yes, we're working out and we're doing cardio and we're doing strength training. And we're also kind of doing some dance, some freeform movement, which is pretty awesome. But the dialogue in the background is all about like emotional freedom, which is so interesting. It's
Mm,
like, like,
that really is.
yeah, it's like requiring us to channel, our emotion into the movement. And then I've been so saved by that over the pandemic. And I say that only because like, find something you love, right? Whether it's a walk or even just getting up and down in your chair 50 times,
Yeah.
like as a squat,
Yeah.
like you said, like little bit at a time, or finding an instructor, like with your live classes. There are so many to choose from now. It's kind of overwhelming. It's hard to know.
Mhm.
But
That
I
is
love,
very true. It is overwhelming with the amount that is out there. I agree. It becomes like, well, what do I do now? What it is a bit overwhelming out there right now, especially after the pandemic. So many people now have the virtual. So it becomes a little bit confusing of what to take, but you got to just find that one that you love, and
yeah.
usually you'll want to commit.
Yeah. And I love that you changed it up because I do, I need the yoga and the, and that resistance training. And I do some bar
Hmm.
stuff too. So it's really important, I think, to have well-rounded for those of us who are kind of in it. It's important to change it up. Like I've been
Yes.
doing a totally different ab thing these last week. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can feel my abs really strongly. But I believe that our bodies are a reflection of our lives and our minds. And so my philosophy is that you go to the mind through the body, you stay sane.
Hmm.
You go to the mind through the mind, you go crazy. And that may be, one of the reasons why you just love it so much. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I also love to talk to the participants. Not everybody loves this style, but for my participants and myself, it works. As they're working out, especially when you're online, it tends to sometimes get a little stagnant. You're working out at home by yourself, you don't have people working out around you. So I like to just talk to them during the workout, not the entire time, but just a story that might have happened to me over the weekend. And as we're going through our 15th rep of something,
Mhm.
I can tell a story through it. And it kind of like, in a way, distracts them through getting
Right.
through some of the movement.
I love that. That's awesome. Is your workout the classes that you teach, or is it separate from the classes that you teach?
I do most of it, three-quarters comes from the classes that I teach
Okay.
because I find online, I mean, I'm only teaching one live class a day. I find online I have to move much more than in person only because they're looking at a screen. So where when I was in person, I felt like I could kind of stop and just kind of coach them and walk around the room. But online, you don't really have that luxury. So I do most of it with them. I do stop and get up and look at the screen and look at their forms to make sure as a whole they're getting it. So I am getting a lot of the workout, like three-quarters of it comes from that. But I do my own yoga. I really believe in taking my own yoga class once a week. I'll do yoga maybe twice. And I like to do some heavy weightlifting on my own once or twice a week, just downstairs in my basement, quiet without having to coach somebody.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's really important. I'm always curious also. I've
Yeah.
noticed that people who are like group fitness instructors tend to be a lot thinner. And I wonder sometimes like if it's because they're exercising multiple times throughout the day and their
Yeah.
metabolism is just, burning a lot faster than someone who does one workout a day versus, a couple. I don't know. Do you have any like, I don't know what to say advice, but like, do you have any insights on that?
Back when I was teaching in the gym, I actually have gained some weight after I taught at home because when I was teaching 15 classes a week, I was like constantly going, but I don't necessarily think that was healthy. I think it was too much. It was too much on my body. I was burning too much. I had to keep eating to
Mm.
replace what I was losing. So for me, it works out better just to teach one class a week. But for the instructors that have to do that and they have to teach multiple classes a day, I would really suggest not doing the entire class and to
Mm.
really scale it back because you're going to burn out doing
Yeah,
that many.
an injury is really real,
Yeah.
God forbid, but I'm a um, huge fan of, just taking good care. And, a lot of people in the yoga will injure themselves because overstretching is actually extremely painful and dangerous. And if you don't have enough muscle around your joints, you actually start to have joint pain and muscle pain. And it's like this rabbit hole of like upset and dysfunction. It's really challenging. So I'm a huge fan of just balance, like you said, and trying to make sure that everything is being paid attention to, that we're not overemphasizing our
Hmm.
shoulders or doing too much weight bearing on the wrists or whatever it is. And our bodies actually speak to us, right? When we have like a hip problem or a knee issue, it's like I've learned so much from my injuries over the years.
Yeah, so important to listen to. And I tell my participants that I'm always giving different options. It's not about what everybody else is doing in the room. It has to be what works for them on that day. Like what may work one day might not work the next day. And it's
Yeah.
all about listening. If your knee is hurting during a lunge that day, do a Brazilian lunge where you don't bend it. If your wrists are hurting in the plank that day, come down onto your elbows. You have to you got to listen and honor what your body is telling you.
Yeah, and there's like this aggression I noticed with a lot of the type A women that are listening, and I'm saying that because I'm one of them, that we tend to overdo, and
Yes.
we have to really take a moment to listen, and that's something that actually COVID really taught me, was that like overdoing isn't actually serving anyone.
Hmm.
Most of all, not me. And usually ends up in injury and whatnot. So
Yeah,
so great that that. And a lot of people who exercise regularly tend to be type A kind of folks.
I am.
We're in
I
good company.
definitely am a type A. So we have to like force ourselves to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Listen, it was funny last week when I was teaching, I told them I had my booster on Saturday and I taught Monday last week, and I really just wasn't up to moving that much. So I was honest with my participants that I was going to
Mm,
coach them more
yeah.
that day and move around less, because I just didn't have it in me. Like all of us are going to have that day, including instructors, that we just can't do it. And it's important to just honor it.
Absolutely. So speaking of which, like, how do you maintain your vitality? What are some of your routines and things that you do to cherish your vitality?
So I do believe in a good medical massage. I get them at once every 2 to 3 weeks. I get a nice 30 to 45 minute medical massage. I tend to hold a lot of like pressure in my neck and shoulders, so that kind of releases it. I also love foam rolling as a self-care. Um, I use the myofascial release balls as well. And even just
Nice.
like dry brushing. I feel like even if it's a quick 5 to 8 minutes in the morning when you first wake up, for me, it wakes me up, it gets the circulation going. I just feel like kind of as an all around self care, dry brushing it's easy, it's quick. Um, and what else do I do? I get my nails done.
I love
It
that.
definitely, yeah,
Nice.
to keep that, just something to look forward to with self-care.
Yeah. I dry brush. I'm a huge fan of dry brushing. I'm
Love
like,
it.
yeah, I'm really hardcore. Actually, I got a new dry brush for Christmas and it's like the
Oh,
best. It's like really different than the other brushes I have. So now I have like 6 brushes. No, I think that exfoliation is so key. Dry brushing
yes.
for our lymph nodes and circulation and increasing our immune system's functioning is really important. We forget like how huge the skin organ is. And I think that my skin is actually aging really well because I skin brush. I really believe in it. I've been doing it for
Now,
a
do
few
you do
years.
the whole body, or do you just do like your legs one day, your arms the
I
next
do the whole
day, or do
body
you do
every
everything?
day.
You do
I
the
do.
whole body.
I do. Yeah. Like even the soles of my feet.
Oh, I never did the feet.
Yeah.
Usually
And
I tend to get the arms and legs and torso, but I never did the feet.
yeah. And then the
Huh.
face,
Gotta
I've
start doing
added in
that.
the face even now. I'm like,
With the
really,
brush?
yeah. I have like a more gentle one for my face, but yeah, even the face. Cause people like, have you ever been to like one of those Korean spas or,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, like those ladies, they're like really thorough. I don't know if you've ever
Yeah.
gotten their like scrubs, but it's just like,
I never
whoa.
got those, but I'm sure much more thorough than my dry brushing is.
Oh my God. I'm like, I thought my skin was going to be ripped off. But it was the best thing ever. I couldn't believe it. So those women are really serious. And I only use that as an example because the Asian culture has been using this kind of exfoliation and deep skin brushing, and they have like exquisite skin. I mean, the Asians are known for having like the best skin, the best
Hmm.
aging and everything. And I think this is a huge part of their routine. Even my grandmother, who was like gorgeous, well into her 90s. She even did her own version of skin brushing.
She did. Oh, you
Yeah.
know what else is good for the face? The that I use, the gua sha, the stone. I like that because it's smooth.
I haven't tried the stone. I do lots of
I
massage.
like it.
Oh,
I do.
love that.
Yeah. I go up through the chin, get under the
Mm,
eyes, and it definitely helps. It's a little bit lighter on the skin than the dry brush
for
on the
sure.
face.
Right?
Yeah. Hmm.
That's a little intense. I'm a little hardcore.
Yeah.
um, movement is medicine. There's no doubt about it. Curious if you've explored dance at all. I'm just like genuinely curious.
It's so funny. It's one of those things that I regret stopping when I was a kid, but I
Mm,
did do it when I was younger. And I kind of got away from it. I was actually the one growing up, like through high school and middle school, and I was the one that was picked last for like the team at school. I was
Me
not
too.
athletic.
I know, me either.
Yeah, I was
Isn't that
not
funny?
athletic.
Now we're so
And the same
hardcore.
thing with dance. I just don't think that I didn't think I fit in well with the girls. And I look back at it, I'm like, oh, I wish I really pursued that because I love teaching bar and I love dancing. And I even incorporate a little bit of dance cardio in my own Let's Work class. But I got away from doing like the ballet. I was enrolled in ballet and tap and all that, and I just felt like I didn't fit in with
I
like the
know.
girls, so I stopped it.
Me too. Me
And
too.
I
But
regret it.
well, I've gotten back to it as an adult and it's really been fun for me. It's been a
You
really big,
have.
yeah. Like there's these like groups I get together. I mean, less so since COVID, but we get together and there's no talking, no cameras, no phones. Um, and you just kind of dance like no one's watching. And it's been really fun. And
Yes.
my boyfriend and I do it together, which is even more fun. So I don't know if your husband's into it, but I think
He
that
doesn't dance so much.
we have to play, like I just feel
Yeah.
like we need to play. And I think for me, part of movement is being medicine is that play element. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes I spent so many years taking myself so seriously and like so much precision as a Iyengar, like we're like, move the inner right upper knee. Like we're so like technical. And like this, I think that's very masculine as well. And I think there's this balance of feminine and masculine in the movement practice. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that dance is such a feminine, I feel like there's such a feminine
Yes.
nature that's come up and gotten expressed through that. But I've really been enjoying it.
Yeah. And and I need more. It's so funny that you bring the feminine nature up. I feel like I need more feminine nature in my life because now I am just so hardcore about running the business and networking, collaborating with different people. And I actually, for the first time, just hired somebody to help me with PR.
Mhm.
And I have so much of that masculine energy from like running my own business that I need more of the feminine to balance myself out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also a solopreneur, right? So we have to
Yeah.
have that masculine energy. And then when you teach class, you're also masculine because you're like dictating.
Yes.
Um,
Dictating.
yeah. And that's great. I mean, it's wonderful. We need that masculine energy. And we also need to cultivate the feminine, right? So you get your nails done
I do
and
that. That's
your
I
dry
think that's like
brushing.
really the only thing is like the dry brushing nails and everything else is like a masculine energy for me.
Oh, a dance. Maybe you can, but maybe you'll find a practice that helps to, and that's for some people it's singing, for some people it's cooking, other people it's writing or drawing. Like, and what I don't know what might be it for you.
You know, writing is something that I've explored in the past. I do like to journal. So that's definitely there. And I do cook, but not as much as I should. I probably cook twice a week, maybe, but I enjoy it. I do enjoy the cooking.
I'm so into cooking.
You
It's like,
are.
yeah. And it's funny because like most of my expertise is in food. Like I have a master's and a bachelor's degree in nutrition. I've studied
Oh,
food as medicine
I saw that.
internationally. Yeah, I was like on
Mhm.
MasterChef. Like I'm super into food. Like I write cookbooks in my free time. I mean, I do it just to relax. Like it's just even like my friend had a birthday last night and I made this like, amazing dinner and everyone's like, how did you just do that? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just like I do it. And I love it. It's so fun. Um, but only focusing on nutrition will only get you so far.
Mhm.
And I have decades of expertise, in nutrition, but there's nothing there's no pill, there's no food, there's no diet that's going to replace movement and fitness. It just isn't.
Yeah,
And you need the aerobic, you need the anaerobic, you need the strength training, resistance, you need the stretching,
the
elongation. Like
stretching.
you've got to have really it all. And it's like, it is an act of self-love, but it's non-negotiable.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, folks, if you're listening and you are not moving your body, I'm going to be really honest with you. It's like a slow death. I don't know. Do you agree, Cara?
I totally agree. It's a death both mentally and physically. Like I can't imagine not having the movement in my life. And it's one of those things though, when someone who hasn't done it in so long, they get into it, it takes time. You
It
have to
does.
be patient with
Yes.
yourself. But
Yes.
after a good month, if you really get into the habit of doing it for a month and you commit to just the 3 days a week, like I talked to you about before, they're going to want it. They're going to want to do it. And if you don't do it, you'll start to feel bad. Like you'll feel like, what did I skip out on today? You won't feel as much energy to get your daily activities done. You're going to want to do it, but it takes a good month to really to
It
get into
does.
that habit.
It does. It does. So be patient, folks. Listen, it really only takes about a month. You will be shocked at how much progress you make. You'll be hungrier for your lunch and dinner, or maybe
Yeah.
even your breakfast. You will sleep more deeply. You will wake up more vital. You will
Hmm.
feel like you have more consistent and better energy throughout the day. And I can't wait till more research comes out about microcirculation and the capillaries, because capillary density is determining our longevity. And we get capillary density by exercising and doing the resistance
Yes.
training, the strength training, the aerobic and the anaerobic. And so we need that capillary density. We need that microcirculation, and we need it like for our survival, for our immunity, and for our
Immunity
longevity.
is, yeah,
So
so
big.
important with immunity. Hmm.
Yeah. And overdoing will actually harm your immunity. So it's really important, guys. Check out Cara. What's your, we're going to have it in the show notes, but tell us your
Sure.
web address. Yeah.
It is www.cgmfit.com. And if anybody wants to try out a class for free, your first class is free. You could just fill out the contact form on the website with your email or your cell phone number,
Nice.
indicate which class you want to try, and you'll get the Zoom link.
I love it. Thank you so much for being with us today. Be well.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.